How's it going up there, YouTube land and also social media lands? Welcome to an all-new video. In this video, we're doing a movie review of a new film that just came out this past Friday, June 28th, and is a prequel film to an already established franchise that had its last film in 2020. So we're going to get right into that. Before we do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss this video and the other videos I put up. So those people, if you enjoy my content here on YouTube, definitely check out my little social media platforms such as X, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Patreon. Pretty much post on those regularly, so definitely check them out. So those people, let's get right into this. So welcome one and all to an all new video. So like I was saying before, we're doing a movie review of a new film that just came out this past Friday and is a prequel film to an already established franchise called A Quiet Place Day One. Yeah, A Quiet Place Day One. So this film, going into it, I was expecting it to be similar to the other two films. And I was really shocked after coming out of theater and seeing this film because it was very different than what I expected from this film. Now, this film happens to be more of a drama versus the sci-fi alien type like we're used to with the other two films, which definitely the second one really dives more deep into that alien part of the universe, whereas the first one's a little more drama-ish, but nowhere to the level that a Day One is. And I was actually really shocked by it because it's not what I was expecting. From what I saw in the trailers, I was expecting something more of a sci-fi-ish thing, showing more of, what went on Day One when the aliens landed, so forth, but it was more like a movie about one particular character and her, story and trying to get to her end point because she's dying of cancer. So I was really blown away by just kind of the story they decided to go with this film and focus more on that versus the actual Day One part of the actual alien invasion. And from what in the trailer I saw, that's what I was looking forward to. I was looking forward to seeing more about, what started the aliens attack, when did they come down and attack, what did they do and all this kind of stuff. So I was looking more for that, but that's not what I got when I saw this film. Now, I'm not saying it's a horrible film. I'm not saying it's the best film, but definitely it was interesting, and it did have some great points to it that were really enjoyable and really interesting. Now, this film happens to be directed none other by a gentleman that goes by the name of Michael Sarnowski. Yeah, Michael Sarnowski. Yeah. So Michael Sarnowski is, has done some short films, has done some other things over the years, and this is not his directorial debut. His directorial debut was before, but this definitely is something that I was really shocked to see what he did with this film, because the previous film I had seen that he had directed, I wasn't a huge fan of it. I didn't care too much for it. I found it boring, and I didn't think that he did anything really that great versus other directors I've seen direct films of the similar type of nature. And I was really looking forward to seeing him do something different, whereas in this I felt it was pretty similar to how he directed the other film, but he did change it up a little bit, which I was happy with. Now, Michael, like I said, is, collaborated with many people over the years. He actually co-wrote the story for this film with John Krasinski, but he actually wrote the screenplay for the film. So I don't know how much of the story he actually wrote into the screenplay that they wrote together. It'd be interesting to find out what exactly how that transpired and what actually of it was John Krasinski's idea. But overall, I think that his writing and his directing style is not horrible, but at the same time, nothing that I thought was really that great or grand. And I was really looking forward to seeing something different from him, but like I said, he did a little different, but not completely much different from his other film. And I was, also hoping for, like I said, more of something more about the alien invasion itself and not kind of a drama, which is kind of very similar to his previous film, too, where it's very much drama and not a lot of action, not a lot of, stuff going on. It's basically focused on one thing, whereas other things are just going on in the background. And he did the exact same thing with this film, which I wasn't too didn't think it was that great. I didn't care too much for that. But other than that, though, I think he still did a decent job. He got some really great responses out of the actors and actresses in the film. And I think he had a good eye for the action scenes and a really good eye for when the aliens were a part of the scenes as well. And I think he did a good job with that. But overall, I think he's a pretty mediocre director, but definitely nothing to really shout out about. And I think what he did with this film was okay, but nothing that great. Now, if you haven't seen anything else Michael Sarnecki has directed, definitely you should check out his directorial debut film and see for yourself just exactly, you know, what kind of director he is and make your own mind up. Because I'm not going to tell you how to do that. But anyways, the film that he directed prior is a film I actually watched, and it just wasn't anything great to me. It had a great cast, but it just didn't really pull me in and entertain me. And that, of course, film called Pig. Yeah, Pig. Yeah. Just like with Quiet Day 1, Pig was the exact same thing. It was not what I expected from what I saw in the trailer, and it was a completely different type of film. And so I think that's one of the reasons why I kind of dislike A Quiet Place as much as I do, is because of how much I disliked Pig for that type of thing. But overall, Nicolas Cage's performance in Pig was really done well. And I think Michael did a great job of bringing that out of Nicolas Cage in the film and giving that really great time frame to Nicolas Cage in the film to really bring out that great acting role that, you know, Nicolas Cage always brings. But what I think that, you know, he did with the film, it was definitely interesting, very different, along the lines of, like, you know, Ari Aster or, you know, indie filmmaker type of deal. And I definitely think that he had something going, but he just didn't connect the dots and really deliver on that promise with that film. But other than that, he did an okay job with the film, and I think it really does show his directing chops and ideas and how he directs. So, Pig is a really great film to see exactly what Mr. Aronofsky does as a director. So, most definitely check it out. I would, for his directing chops, to see just exactly what Michael does as a director. And if you haven't seen it, highly recommend try it out at least once. Check it out, see for yourself what you think, and see what you think of Michael Sarnowski's directing ability there. But overall, like I said, when it comes to A Quiet Place Day 1, it just was not what I expected, and I don't think he delivered as well as he could have. Other than that, I think Michael Sarnowski did an okay job, and not too shabby of a job. If you haven't seen anything Michael Sarnowski has directed, definitely go check out A Quiet Place Day 1 in theaters now to see just what he did with it. I think he did a mediocre job. So this movie has a pretty small cast. Really well-known people that are great actors and actresses that really have shined in other things and, you know, did a decent job in this film, but really not a huge cast where, you know, kind of the central cast really is the main focus of the film, which is good in itself, where you don't really have to worry about other characters, but it is great that they gave homage to another character that we have seen in previous films in the Quiet Place series. Now, to start us off is none other than kind of the main actress herself in the film, kind of the main point of the film, Miss Lupita Nyong'o. Oh yeah, Lupita, yeah, Lupita. So Lupita, if you haven't seen in anything else, you might recognize her from 12 Years a Slave. You might recognize her from a few things over the years. Very great actress. She is usually very enjoyable and does a really great job. And I really have always appreciated Lupita. I thought she always brings great characterization to her characters. She really brings some earthy tones, and she really brings some really great kind of like attitude, but at the same time a lot of sentiment as well. And you enjoy her and you appreciate her characters, and she really brings them to life. And when it comes to her character in Day 1 of A Quiet Place, I absolutely hated her character. She was whiny and annoying. And I understand, you know, your character's premise is dying of cancer. You want to do the last thing you want to do. But at the same time, it doesn't give you a right to be a dick. basically, type of deal. And that's how I felt about her character throughout the whole entire film. And I was just like, wow, like, can you be any more of an asshole type of character? And it just wasn't what I usually have seen from Lupita. And I just think that she could have done better with the character. She could have gotten more emotional or more interesting with the character. She could have gone in a completely different direction. And I'm not sure if that's, what originally they wanted her character to be. But it was completely, once again, opposite of what I was thinking that she was going to be. I think she was going to be a heroine. I thought she was going to kick butt, kick alien butt, be like Emily Blunt in the other two films. And it wasn't. She was like scaredy cat and like didn't do anything, just cared about herself. It just kind of was not an interesting character, and I was really disappointed with the character. Other than that, Lupita Nyong'o is a really great actress, and I've seen her in a lot of things, and she's been really great in those. And I was just really sad that this character was just so bad and not well constructed, I felt. Now, if you haven't seen Lupita in anything else, definitely check out a great film that came out in 2018 and is a part of the Marvel Universe called Black Panther. Yeah! Black Panther. Yeah! Absolutely love her character in Black Panther. She was so great as that character. She kicked butt. She was a great heroine. She was a great sidekick to Chadwick Boseman, rest his soul. And she just really played that character really well. She had it down. She had a really great repertoire of what she was doing with the character. I think her growth throughout the film and into the sequel, I think she did a really great job of bringing that to life. And I just really enjoyed her and thought she was a really great kick-ass heroine type of character that really kicked butt and just was a great addition to that cast already of, Chadwick Boseman, Letitia Wright, Angela Bassett, many other characters in that film. And she just really was amazing, and her physicality of her role and her stunts and stuff were really done well as well. And I just really enjoyed everything she brought to that character, and I just think she did a really good job. And I think that was probably one of my favorite roles of hers to date. If you haven't seen Lupita in anything, definitely check her out in Black Panther. She did a really phenomenal job as the character. But overall, I didn't care for her character in Quiet Place Day One. I think they could have put a different actress in the role, or if they had just written it better, Lupita could have done a better job. But overall, I just wasn't really happy with the character. I found her annoying. I found her irritating. And overall, I just don't think it was a great way to go with the character. If you haven't seen Lupita in anything recently, go check her out in A Quiet Place Day One. See for yourself what you think about her, and see for yourself just what you think of her character. So that brings me to the next actor I'd like to talk about this film. And that is none other than Mr. Stranger Things himself, Mr. Joseph Quinn! Oh yeah, Joseph Quinn! Woo! Joseph Quinn, yeah! So Joseph Quinn you might recognize from Stranger Things, which is actually the only thing I've ever seen him in. And just from that role though, he is an amazing actor, and I think he has a lot of great acting chops on him. So I was really psyched that he was in this movie, and I was expecting a lot from him. Now, he was okay in the film, he was not too shabby, but there's definitely parts where I was just kind of like, wow, why did you make his character so pathetic in these certain parts? And I just was, thinking to myself, like, what did Joseph think about this when he had to portray it this way? And at the same time, I was like, wow, like, why would you make his character such a wussy at certain points and not make him this, great kind of, like, hero type of character, along with heroine Lupita, and be kicking butt like we've seen in previous films? And I get that, sometimes they want to go in a different direction with films, but I just don't think it worked really well, this character, for the film. And I just think that they underutilized Joseph Quinn's performance in this film and could have had him play such a way better and awesome character, and definitely not make him like such a drama piece in this film. Now, like I said, if you haven't seen Joseph Quinn anything, definitely check out his performance in the great Season 4 of Stranger Things. Yeah! Stranger Things Season 4. Yeah! He was absolutely amazing at that character. His battle at the end of the series, of the season, where he's playing the guitar, is so super awesome. He kicks butt. He's such a great character that is just amazing from the get-go, and I think Joseph just has a lot of great talent that I can't wait to see in other things. And I'm really looking forward to seeing his characterization of the Human Torch, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him in other things as he does things, because I think he has a lot of great talent that's very much that needs to be unpacked and let loose, because he just has a lot of great raw talent that I think he's just going to be a fantastic actor down the road, Oscar-worthy type of deal. If you haven't seen Joseph Quinn anything, definitely check him out in Stranger Things Season 4. He did a phenomenal job in that. And with his character in A Quiet Place Day One, like I said, really disappointed once again with another character in this film, and just really thought they could have gone way better places with this character. But I still think that Joseph Quinn did a decent job, and he still was enjoyable in the film. So that brings me to the final actor I'd like to talk about in this film, and that is a returning character that we have seen in previous Quiet Place films, and that of course is Mr. Djimon Hounsou. Oh yeah! Djimon Hounsou! Woo! Djimon Hounsou! Yeah! Djimon is such a great character, such a great character actor. He has just always been fantastic. I've always enjoyed him. And anything he's ever been in, he's always been solid, really kick-ass, and has always been amazing at evolving into different types of characters. And I absolutely love it. You know, from such films like Gladiator to Captain Marvel, he is always great at portraying so many different characters. And he always does it so beautifully. And I think that he's just a really great, talented actor that, you know, is always fun to watch and is always going to be enjoyable to see just what he does with this character. And he just was really fun in this. I love that they gave him the homage to his character that we see in the previous films. And it was just great to actually see him, like, kind of like where he was at on day one, like how he got into this and what he was into, and like what he had to do to get into where he is, where we've seen his character from the other films. And I just thought that he did a great job, gave us a really solid performance that was just super awesome. Even though it wasn't a huge role, it still was powerful and really well acted by him, and he just did a great job. Now, if you haven't seen Djimon Hounsou on anything, definitely check him out. A great film that came out in the late 90s called Amistad. Yeah! Amistad. Yeah! This has got to be one of his best movies to date. He was absolutely phenomenal as the slave character in that film. And he played it so convincingly and so well, and just really showed the raw, great talent that he is as an actor. You know, which I think led to his, you know, him getting the role in Gladiator and to further roles down the road over the years. And he just was so freaking fantastic. His emotion, his aggression, his everything about the character was on point of what you would think that, you know, unfortunately a black, you know, man, or even any black person would have to feel like if they were, you know, entrapped as a slave back in that time frame. And especially with this being based on a true story, him bringing that character's, you know, art to life, their life to, you know, to the big screen, was done so well and so amazingly performed by him. If you have not seen Amistad for Djimon Housou's performance, he did a fantastic job. He was utterly amazing. He was phenomenal. You should check it out because it's definitely a great piece of great cinema film. If you have not seen it, highly recommend check it out. He did a really phenomenal job in that. But like I said, even though his part was super short in this film, he still was amazing, fun, and just really well off. And I just really enjoyed seeing the beginning of his character compared to what we saw in, you know, A Quiet Place Part 2. He just did a great job. If you haven't seen Djimon Hounsou on anything recently, definitely go check him out in A Quiet Place Day 1. He did a really fantastic job. So what is A Quiet Place Day 1 about? Basically, the premise story is to show you the first day the aliens came down to Earth and started taking over the world, leading to become a quiet place where everyone could not talk. They had to whisper and not make sound because they rely on sound to find their victims. And while this is going on in the background, we have the story of Lupita Nyong'o's character, who is dying of terminal cancer and basically trying to get to this shop that she used to go to with her father before he passed and get that kind of bucket list off of her list before she dies. and that's pretty much what the film's about. Like I said, so much potential for this movie. It could have been so good. It was really one note for me. I was really disappointed because it was nothing like I thought it was going to be, and it wasn't in a good way. I thought it just was a little too boring at certain parts, and some things I just felt like were unnecessary to progress the story along. And I just thought that it could have been so much better and more, relying on the origin of the aliens, on this being day one, why they came down to take over the Earth and stuff like that kind of deal. And I was just really looking forward to more of the sci-fi element versus a drama element. And even though it was, not the greatest, there's still some really great scenes, especially with the aliens. We see some great action sequences where they're chasing people. We see a great scene towards the end of the film when Joseph Quinn is running to jump into the water because they can't go into the water because they don't know how to swim. They will drown. We get some great scenes with Lupita where she's chasing or being chased by things and stuff like that. She has some great scenes where she's like looking around, looking confused, and just a lot of great scenes that were just action-packed, that just, were great, and what made the film more entertaining, but still not enough to make it a great entertaining film. I give this film 5 Golden Movie Boxes up. I definitely think that it has a lot of improvement that they could have done to it. I really, enjoyed certain parts, but overall I thought that it was just boring and not what I was looking for this film. And overall, I think that it just could have been so much better. If you haven't seen A Quiet Place Day 1 yet, highly recommend. Go check it out. See for yourself. See what you think. This is just my thoughts on the film. And as always, check it out for yourself. See what you think. See if you enjoyed it. Because there is a lot of great points to this film. So that's it for this movie review, guys. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Also, thank you for subscribing. If this is your first time here or you have been before, don't forget to check out any other new videos you might not see mine yet. As always, people, I just want to show a huge shout out to my followers, new and old. You guys are rocking it. And if you want to show support for the channel, please check out my awesome Patreon page. And once you become a part of my Patreon, you become a Patreon member. You get all access to all kinds of extra stuff you don't get here on my YouTube channel, such as outtakes, bloopers, polls, stuff like you could pick what I review next and all that kind of stuff. So definitely check that out. As always, people, catch you in the next one.